thanks for coming to my cash flow talk. I don't know what you're doing today that got you so bored that you want to come listen to a guy drone on for a half hour about money. But I promise you this, I won't put you to sleep. I can't promise you Tiger King like drama and excitement, but I can promise you that you'll walk away here with a system for understanding your cash flow. And I'm also going to share with you the number one problem that I see agencies and freelancers making, and it's a 5-second fix. So once you know that, you could save yourself from like a world of pain in the future. But before I get started though, I want to tell you this story. So in a previous life, before I became an agency owner, I had a job as the portfolio analysis marketing director for an investment advisory accountant estate planning law firm. Okay, and I would do most of the writing, the research, the portfolio analysis, and then we'd be at client events, and the clients would come up to me and say, "Oh, I want to ask Jim a question," and Jim would be my boss. So I'd go over, and I'd get Jim, and Jim would come back, and he'd answer their question, and it would be the wrong answer anyways, and because he never even read the shit I wrote. So, and I'd just sit back and chuckle and everything like that, because the deal was that I didn't like have enough gray hair for them to take me seriously when I would talk to them about money. Anyways though, and that's what I just absolutely love about you guys, because you'll spend your time coming to watch somebody that looks 12 tell you about money. So, alright, that aside, let's get started. Alright, understanding cash flow to make better decisions. Let's meet our cast of characters. First, we have Jenny. Jenny's a rock star developer. She's having a great month. She's excited. She has several new projects she got in, and she can't wait to dig in. It's the 5th of the month. She's getting ready to go to bed, and then it hits her. Boom. It's the 5th of the month. She has bills for her contractors due on the 10th of the month, and then she has a Gravity Form subscription due, and then she has a couple little bills after that. She gonna have the cash in? She's having a great month, but will she have the cash to be able to make those bills? She doesn't know, and it's stressing her out. She can't get to sleep, and it's gonna affect her productivity the next day. So have you ever been in this situation? I know a lot of people have. So then we have Jimmy. And now Jimmy's at his favorite coffee shop doing his design thing, and he's just loving it, and he's tapping away on his MacBook, and all of a sudden, he feels these stares. And then he's like, why is everybody staring at me? And then he hears this noise. And he's like, what the hell is that noise? And he looks, and it's his laptop. It's making so much noise. And he's like, I need to get me a new laptop. But I want that new MacBook Pro 16-inch that came out last year. And, I want the discrete graphics card, and I want the upgraded RAM, but that's going to cost $600 for $50 of RAM because Apple. So he just doesn't know if he should spend the money right now, or if he won't regret it if he buys it now. So he doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know whether he should buy it. All right, now let's meet our narrator. That's me. And this is where I tell you all sorts of great stuff about how wonderful I am, and you're so bored you start scrolling through Instagram. Because this is what you really care about. Who the hell am I, and why the hell should I listen to you? Well, the answer to that is simple. Because my name was on this talk, and I have the clicker, damn it. Next slide. Anyways, no. Kidding. Why you should listen to me? Because, like you, I'm an agency owner, but I got involved in this, and maybe a slightly different path. I wasn't a designer or anything like that. I came from a finance and marketing background, and what I saw was a lot of my friends and colleagues struggling with this kind of stuff. So I would help them out with their money and understanding it. So I know the stuff that you're going through, and I know how to help you with it. So and that's what we're going to do in this talk. I'm going to give you this system, all right? So let's get into it. All right, our business expense tracker. Ooh, sounds scary. But we're going to break it down in a simple way. So what we have here is 3 columns. And one, we list our bills out, our monthly bills and everything like that. And then we list our monthly subscriptions. And then we list like miscellaneous stuff. All right. And as you can see, we put the amount on, when it's due, whatnot. All right. And then, and you're going to get all this stuff. I'm going to give you a code at the end of this to get this whole course that we teach on cash flow for free. And you'll get all these templates and you'll be able to do this immediately. So, and this part right here just tells you how much money that you have to collect every month to meet your bills. But and it's really neat to figure out pricing, but it's kind of out of the scope of this talk. And then what we do is we simplify the cash flow statement. If you ever looked at a cash flow statement, if there's anything ever that's made you want to drink, it's the cash flow statement. If you've ever printed one from QuickBooks, that's the confusing ass crap right there. So I simplify it. What we're going to do is we have some columns here that we fill in. The first is date. Now, does anybody know what goes in that column? Anybody? Yeah, you're right. Date. You guessed it. Then we have who and what. So rent, we had their rent. If we look, rent, $1,200 on the first. So we go first, $1,200, and that's going out. So it goes in the red column. Now, people have told me that's pink. But as far as Microsoft Excel is concerned, that's in the red column. So now we have green and we have red. And then green is coming out, and green is coming in, is money we have coming in, and red is money we have going out. And then the balance column is yellow, and we'll get to that in a minute. So, okay, and this is what it looks like filled in. So with all the stuff from our expense trackers, see how this is building on each other? And so this is everything just filled in there, the coming out, the going out, and you see how the balance column is green and yellow. So what happens is it's green if it's above 1,000, and it's yellow if it's below 1,000. Now 1,000, that's just a number I picked. It seems to work for a lot of people, but you could set that in the course. We tell you how to set that as a threshold. And then if your average amount of bills that you have coming in, like your average bill is $5,000 a month, and you don't want to dip below 5,000. If it's say 500, maybe you set it at 500. 1,000 seems to work for most people in my experience. So, all right. So, this is the same slide we just looked at in smaller form. No, okay. And here is another slide. The difference between these two slides is you see right there that, and I'm using my laser pointer like you could actually see when I'm pointing out on my screen. Oh well. The fun of doing online talks. So as you can see in the 6th line down, it's $630 that we pay our contractors. In the one on the right, we moved that, we put it as another 0 on it, and it makes it $6,300. So when we came time to pay our contractors, we had $1,700 in the bank account. So obviously that is going, we don't have the $6,300. So it goes red because that means it's negative. And you say, hey, Nev, these are color coded. Yes, everything's color coded. Nev loves color codedness. And not because I'm a little kid, although I am kind of a 12-year-old at heart. But just because I think colors make it simple. And I like simple, easy to understand at a glance kind of stuff. All right, so what colors are there, Nev? Well, I'm glad you asked. There is red, yellow, and green. Anybody care to guess where I got that from? Yes, a stoplight. Very good. Brilliant. Anyways, though, so if it's red within 0 to 30 days, we need to find money, okay? We need to get money in. Either make some sales, collect some money that clients owe you, maybe even ship in some money, because that's going to be, you're going to have a problem here, and within 0 to 30 days, you're going to go negative on your bank account. So now, Nev, you promised me this would give me less stress, and that's stressing me out. Right. Well, here's the thing. It's less stress than all of a sudden if it blindsides you with the fact that you're out of money. Now, if you find out about it soon enough, you could do something about it. So I didn't say no stress. I said less stress. So because if a problem's gonna happen, we might as well want to know about it, right? At least most of us would. So uh, ignorance is not bliss. And then yellow is don't spend. It just means, like in Jimmy's case, maybe Jimmy didn't want to spend the money on that new laptop right now because that would have put him in the red. So he knew not to buy it this month. So and then green means great, means you're doing great, everything's fantastic. So 31 to 60 days here. We have red is don't spend any money. So we just, if it's closer to 60, it's not that big of a deal. If it's closer to 31, maybe even you need to find some money. So know when it's red. So yellow is just caution. It's just like, look at the sales you have coming, look at the business you have coming, and maybe you want to spend, maybe you don't want to spend, but just use caution when you're spending because it's getting tight. So in green, again, you're looking great. Fantastic. Looking good. So 60 plus days, 61 plus days, the 90, 60, 90. We do 90 out because you're going to know your expenses a lot clearer than you're going to know your revenue. You'll know your recurring revenue, but you don't know how many new sales you're going to be getting in and everything like that. You should have some idea. So if it gets 90, past 90, too many things get red and yellow. I mean, you're more than welcome to do it there just to see. But just know that, red is not something to be really upset about 61 plus days. It just is caution saying that something could happen. But you should, if it's like at 75 days, that's 2.5 months. You should have some new sales coming in by then. And cash flow isn't your biggest problem if you don't know if you're going to have sales coming in by then. It's more of a selling system, marketing and everything like that, something that's going to be creating leads for you, and that's kind of out of the scope of this talk right here. So yellow, it's no worries. Expect things to be yellow 60 plus days because, like I said, expenses are a lot better known than revenue coming in. And if it's green, you're killing it. Keep on going. So fantastic. All right, so now I'm going to show you the Nev Harris simplified cash flow statement. See, Nev likes two things. He likes simplicity and he likes buffer. Okay, having a buffer and things being simple. And apparently he also likes talking to himself in the third person for some very strange reason. Anyways, so let's see here. We like flexibility and buffer. And if you see what we did here, this is the exact same statement, but we've done a couple things. One, we've moved around some payment dates to get us something that works better for us, okay? And then we've taken all our expenses, all those little expenses that were happening throughout the month, and we've put them on a credit card. You said credit card! Aren't they evil? Yes. Well, no. But they can be. They can ruin your life if you don't use them responsibly. And we're going to have rules for using credit cards coming up here. So bear with me. So what we do, so we had recurring revenue, rent, contractors, and payroll coming all out in the first. And you can say, hey, Nev, my recurring revenue is enough to cover that. It's fine that it all comes out in the first. Well, see if you feel me. We've all been there. You have people on recurring monthly payments on credit cards, and all of a sudden expiration date expires. And then, you don't get that money in, and you have to look, why didn't I get that money in? And then it's when expiration date expired, they were late getting out the check. Something happened. So, it was a holiday. The mail didn't get there in time, whatever. So, it's funny story I'll tell you. Well, not too funny at the time for us, but funny now that I could look back on it. So we had a client that used to go to Vegas every month or two. And then when he'd come back from Vegas, he'd cancel his credit card. So his credit card never almost went through, and we'd always have to chase him down, get the credit card number and everything like that. It was such a pain. But, and we ended up getting rid of him as a client for other reasons than that. But he was going to go broke anyways if he was gambling that much. So, So what do we do, and why do we do that? Why do we want to have this out to the 5th? So that we have time to fix those problems. So, if you've been a tenant in your place for a long time, you could go to your landlord and say, hey, look, I'm going to start paying you on the 5th every month. He might not like it as much in the beginning, but you have some power because he wants to keep that building full. And it's in a lot of states they can't even charge you a late fee. So if you pay on the 5th every month, and you've been paying your bill on time, he won't. He or she will deal with it. So and then contractors and payroll, like, hey, Nev, people want to pay it on the 1st. Well, if they work for you, they get paid on the 5th. In my company, we pay everybody on the 20th, one time a month, because that's just what works for our cash flow. And you should set this up for what works best for your cash flow. So you just tell people, hey, look, you're going to be paid on the 5th now. So it's and the 20th. Most people like to be paid twice, and it normally works for most people's cash flow. We are just different like that. We do that, and then so we also set up our credit card bill to be paid on the 22nd. So, and why do we do that? So we have recurring revenue on the 15th, payroll comes out on the 20th, then our credit card bill, we tell them before it was being paid on the 14th, now we say we're going to pay it, the end of our billing cycle is going to be on the 20th. And why do we do that? Because let's just say that client B doesn't pay us, or some recurring revenue doesn't come in, or something happens, and then we've had all this money, from the credit card that we have on the credit card that's not through the 22nd now. We have all that money coming out throughout the month. And then we get to make our payroll, and all of a sudden we can't pay it because we don't have the money, because we've paid it nickel and dime it coming out of our checking account all month long. So if we all put it on the credit card, and then we get to the 22nd, we get to the 20th where we have to make our payroll, we can make our payroll. And what you're thinking is, great, Nev, but now I'm late on my credit card payment. No, you're not, because your billing cycle is the 23rd through the 23rd, okay? And I'm going to get to you in the next slide why that's important and what we could do to buy flexibility. So one more note about this credit card column right here. We want to put if we go out to dinner and we use our credit card for anything, or lunch, or we buy a client a gift, we write it in here. So every day that we come back and we use our credit card, we write it in here. Yes, it's more work, but here's the reason we're doing it. Because if we have a stack of cash, okay, and we spend through that cash, our pockets ladder, we feel the impact of spending that cash. We're like, ooh, I had a stack of cash. Now I don't. Maybe I need to cut back on my spending. But with a credit card, you're going around swipe, 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 swipe. And you're like, oh, what's another swipe, swipe, swipe? And because you don't see that coming out, because it's one swipe feels the same as a second swipe. It's not like feeling the cash. And that's one of the reasons credit card companies, people take credit cards, because people will spend more on a credit card because they don't feel the pain of actually paying for it. Writing this down and seeing how much you're putting on that credit card a month will create that pain, and will create that trigger in your mind. It's like your figurative stack of cash that's getting smaller when you see that number getting bigger. So that's why we do it. It's a mental thing, and it keeps us honest and aware. So, and as you could see in the previous example, we had gone yellow in there. This time we're all green because of the way we restructured our cash flow. It's the same amount of money coming in. It's just structuring it differently. But one, we were in the yellow at 700. Now we don't dip below 2,000, and we actually make it up to 10,000. So this is better managing our cash flow. So what about that credit card, Nev? What are you talking about? I don't have to pay my credit card. It's not going to hurt my credit report and my credit rating, and I won't charge late fees or anything like that. No interest. Well, because we have this thing called the grace period. So our billing cycle is the 23rd to the 23rd, but our due date isn't to the 15th. And that's what's called the grace period. And what we want to do is pick the last day of the billing cycle as our payment date. So we don't have to wait for a statement to come out, because what we were doing, we were tracking as much money as we were spending on our cards. So we know, like back here, exactly how much money is on that credit card. So our billing cycle, 23rd by 23rd. Our grace period is to the 15th. So what does that mean? That means that when that happens, when we didn't have enough money to pay it on the 22nd or 23rd, we could actually, but we know we're going to get more recurring revenue on the first, or we know somebody's going to pay us on the first. We're going to get a big lump of money, and we pay our bill then on the second or the third. Okay? And it's not due to the 15th, so we've just bought ourselves like 10 days worth of time to wait till we have more money to pay it. So in Jenny's situation, she doesn't get stressed out about that because she understands her cash flow, how it's coming in and out, and she knows ways to create flexibility. So this is how you get peace of mind and less stress and don't end up, worrying yourself and not being able to fall asleep. We renegotiate for better terms for us, and we use the grace period. This is a trick that big companies use all the time that small businesses never use. Big companies have overnight lending, they have all these things, they have payment terms, they have all these things to structure their cash flow and get loans and stuff like this. If you bought something on the 23rd and you don't have to pay it to the 15th, you've bought yourself over 6 weeks of having that money with an interest-free loan. So the big question, and I get much more into this in the course, is should I have my bookkeeper or VA do this? No, you should not. You're right. It's low value work. It's busy work. It's admin work. It's perfect work for a VA or a bookkeeper. But remember, we want to learn. We want to get the feel for the money coming in and out of our business, coming into our business and coming out of our business, okay? And we want to know how much money we're putting on that credit card, so it's like our figurative wad of cash going down. So that's why we don't want the VA to do this. We'll get a little bit more into this in the course too. I'm going to give you the quick version of this. So credit or debit. This is that 5-second fix that is a problem I see so many people making, and it could cause you a world of pain. One, we've learned as if it's a debit card, it's coming out of your bank account every time you spend it, okay? So, and that's going to nickel and dime you till you're in a situation where it could possibly be a problem. The other thing is, say this is what happens. You're here, you're watching this course, you're at home, and then all of a sudden you get your bill and your bank statement, if it's your debit card, and somebody was in Ibiza and spent $8,000 having the time of their life, partying their butt off, and you call up your credit card company, you say, hey, look, I was at home working, I was not partying in Ibiza, with Bella Hadid and all the rest of these people. And they're like, oh, no problem. If you weren't there, we'll look into it and we'll give you your money back right now. And if it turns out that you weren't there, you won't hear another thing about it. If you were there and we could prove it, we'll put the money back on your card. And you're like, cool, thanks. So I don't have to pay it? Nope, you don't have to pay that until we get done with our investigation, and depending which way it turns out. And you're like, great, fantastic. Now you don't have to pay that. So you call up your bank and you say, hey, same story. And your bank says, oh man, I feel really bad for you. That sucks. We'll investigate and everything like that. And you're like, oh, thanks. Fantastic. And they're like, but before we let you go, your account is overdrawn by $6,400 and you've bounced 5 checks, and your employees didn't get paid this and the other. And you're like, I know, it's terrible. They're like, yeah, we feel bad for you, but give us our money. And you have $500 in fees that you owe us now too. And you're like, what? I don't have any more money left. That took all my money out of my account. And they're like, I know, we feel really bad for you, but pay us, because that's what banks do. Banks are in business to charge you fees for every little thing they can think of. And, they act like they feel bad for you, but they're like, yep, fee. And, you're out of luck, because not only are they going to start charging you more fees every day, your team is pissed because their payroll didn't go through, so they're not paid. So this could be just like a death spiral. So credit card, it's absolutely not a problem. Debit card, you could be in for a world of pain. So But credit cards are evil. They're evil. Everybody says so. If you don't use them right, they are. So, and I get a little bit more into this in the course. So, and actually how credit cards can make you money instead of costing you money. But for now, we just want to go over the rules. If you don't have money, you don't buy it. A lot of credit cards are about financing, interest rates, not having to pay your bill, all this kind of stuff. No. We do not do that. We do not finance anything. As far as we're concerned, that money is due every month without fail. If you don't have it, you don't buy it. Brings us to point 2. We don't carry a balance. We pay that off every month. Point 3, we always pay our balance in full, so we never pay interest. Okay? Point 4, be responsible. Now, this means following the above rules and also means knowing yourself. And if you're not responsible with money, if you know you're just bad at spending money, bad at managing money, not bad at understanding money, because we could help you with that. But if you're just and we could actually help you with the other, but that's that's a much deeper subject. But be responsible, because you don't want to ruin your life with a credit card. We all have limitations in life. Me, I have ADD. Clinically diagnosed, I can't go on Facebook. I go on Facebook for one little thing, and an hour later, I've done 50 other things, type some messages into people that are really stupid on Facebook, and then deleted the message before I send it, because I realized fighting with people on Facebook is just, it's a losing battle. And so, and then it's an hour later, I'm like, what the hell happened to my time? And I still didn't do that one little thing I got on Facebook to do. So, what I'm saying is, we all have our limitations. I have mine, you have yours, know yours. So, one more point. No paying interest. Absolutely not. We pay our bills off. I will be pissed if you pay any interest, because it violates every tenet of good money management, paying interest on credit cards. Well, that's the talk for today. The whole course with all the templates goes into much deeper into some of this stuff. You get it free with the code no interest, nevharris.com cashflow, or just use your phone to the camera on your phone and scan the QR code. This is not a sales funnel you're entering. This is actually what we sell at the end of our sales funnel. So this is really valuable stuff. We sell it for $197. I just making it available to you because short period of time to do this talk, I wanted you to have it. So, all right, that is that, my friends.